I'm Chef Michael Montgomery, the home cook instructor from the Culinary School of the Rockies in Boulder, Colorado. And today we are making my all-time favorite treat, homemade ice cream. We are going to make a basic ice cream custard base. I'm going to flavor some with a little chocolate and keep one traditionally vanilla, which happens to be my favorite. And then I'm going to show you two very classic dessert sauces in the next segment to put on top of our vanilla or chocolate ice cream. So we'll do a caramel sauce and a chocolate sauce as well. Let's first and foremost start with our ice cream. The first thing we need to do, because we are making a French custard-based ice cream, we're going to use eggs. So we do need to cook our base. If there are eggs involved, you know you have to do a little bit of cooking on the stovetop before we can actually put it into the ice cream machine and spin it to make ice cream. First and foremost, we are going to use 6 eggs, but I need to separate the eggs. We're not using egg whites in this case. So I'm going to separate out 6 egg yolks. To do that, as you can see, I am using 3 bowls. You'll see why in just a moment. These 3 bowls are important. One of my bowls will be my crack bowl. So I crack right through my hands, get all that egg white into one bowl. My yolk looks good, no blood specks, nothing looks strange. So this is a clean yolk going into my yolk bowl. This is a clean white, which will now go into the clean white bowl, going back and cracking once again over this crack bowl. Just like I broke a yolk, or the yolk was actually broken when I cracked it, I only have to discard this now instead of my whole bowl of whites or my whole bowl of separated yolks. I've only got 1 egg to discard instead of the whole batch using this 3-bowl method. So we're going to do a total of 6 egg yolks. Our ice cream will actually have a bit of a pale yellow color because of all those beautiful egg yolks. All different ways to spin your ice cream. Many of you at home just have those ice cream machines where you attach the spinning blade to the base, which is frozen in the freezer. Those work beautifully. Definitely use those. At the Culinary School here, we use ice cream machines with compressors. So they get a little colder, and you have absolutely no reason to freeze the base because they have their own compressor. I think I lost count here because I was talking. I think we're on egg 5. One more to egg 6. So my point, whatever method you choose at home to spin your ice cream, it could be the old-fashioned hand crank with the ice and salt bit. Whatever you choose at home, absolutely fine. It will work if you have success with this base that I'm showing you right now. My yolks are going to go into a bowl. In with the yolk, I'm going to put half of the sugar. So the recipe calls for ½ cup of sugar. I'm going to eyeball it and sprinkle in about 1/4 cup of sugar. The rest of the sugar is going into my half and half. In this particular recipe, I'm using half and half cream, half whole milk. You can alter that a little bit. If you want your ice cream to be as decadent as possible, use all cream, of course. If you want it to be a little bit lighter, and just a little bit lighter, you can use whole milk. So what I've got here is half and half, 2½ cups total. I just threw in that remaining bit of sugar. I'm also going to throw in some vanilla beans. I actually only use real vanilla pods or the bean in my ice cream. It's just not the same for me if I don't have the real thing. So to handle these whole pods, what we're going to do is I have a little paring knife here. I'm just cutting straight down lengthwise through these pods. The reason I'm doing that is I want to expose the seeds that are actually in the center. This one's already been cut in half for me, which is easy. When they are cut in half, put them flat on the board, take the back of your knife and gently scrape. And what you can see on my finger, those are actually those little bitty seeds. They're going to give you that really beautiful speck in your ice cream. And that's what I look for in my vanilla ice cream. I know they've done it the right way, and they're actually using whole vanilla pods if I see that little speck. I usually just dip the tip of the knife right into my half and half and sugar mixture. And what we're going to do next is what is called scald. So we're going to bring this to a scald right under a boil. So we are talking about 190 degrees, 180 degrees, somewhere around there, right below boil. The way you can tell when your dairy has actually scalded or is hot enough, a little skin will form on the top. and you'll see bubbles right around the edge. I'm also throwing in the pod. The pod itself has a ton of lovely vanilla flavor, so infuse that into our milk. I'm going to, over medium heat, give this a stir and bring it to, like I said, right around 190, right under boil. Here in Boulder, Colorado, water boils just over 200 degrees. Versus, on the East Coast or on the West Coast, sea level water is boiling more at like 212. So it does not take long to boil water here. That should not take long at all. While that is coming to a scald, I have my egg yolks and my half amount of sugar, which is a 1/4 cup. I'm using a big old whisk here, a balloon whisk, and I'm going to go at this aggressively because I actually want to do what is called ribbon my egg yolks. So that is number one, dissolving the sugar, and it's also incorporating quite a bit of air into our egg yolks, which is going to give us a really nice consistency in our ice cream. To properly ribbon, you want to use the biggest whisk you can, because I want all of that motion, and I want this whisk trapping as much air as possible. And I'm going to look for color change in the eggs first and foremost. They're going to become pale. And I'm also looking for them to thicken up. And we are almost there, as you can see. Over here, my milk is actually starting to simmer a little bit. Just going to turn it off. It's exactly where I need it to be. Let those vanilla pods sit in there and infuse that dairy with all that great vanilla flavor. To test if you have actually hit the ribbon stage, you want to pull some of the yolk and sugar mixture up out of the bowl and let it fall off the whisk. If it falls in something that looks like a ribbon or a wide strand, it's thick enough. So we're almost there. Getting nice and pale in color, and I have a nice wide strand of ribboned egg and sugar.